Hi, I'm Kara, the Pocket Occupational Therapist, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about fine motor skills today. Fine motor is chapter 4 in my book, The Pocket Occupational Therapist. So I wanted to review some techniques for you and explain about fine motor coordination. This could be for many occupational therapists that are just starting out in the profession, or for parents that are just learning about fine motor skills. A fine motor skill is something that's done with the small muscles of the hand. So big gross motor skills are when I would clap or I would move my arms in large ways. Fine motor skills are when I would make small movements of my hands, things like this and back. If I'm holding a pencil and moving it like this, or if I'm using scissors, I'm using the muscles of my hand and arm right here. Those are fine motor or small motor movements. Okay, so let's just warm up the hands a little bit. I'd like to start just by getting some kind of ball and just kind of tossing it up, warming up the muscles, doing a little bit of squeezing. And then I get another ball that's a little bit smaller, and you could adjust the ball depending on your child's abilities, and just kind of rolling it around in the fingers, trying to get it down to the hand, and then bring it back up to the fingertips. That's a skill that I see in a lot of kids' IEPs. It's called translation. So you start an object in your palm and then you work it out to your fingers. You can do this with smaller objects also. So you can start with a die, and bring it up to your fingers like that. Move it around a little bit and bring it down. The point of translation is to not use the other hand to help you. And a lot of my students like to cheat when I look away, and they like to move their fingers on the other hand to help you. But really, when you work on fine motor coordination, it's manipulation or movement of an object in the hand. So I like to give you some techniques that I call out-of-the-pocket activities. And throughout my book, you'll find very easy to do at home out-of-the-pocket activities. So these are some things that I want to tell you that are in the book, but I want to show them to you also. So the first thing is just, if you can zoom down a little bit, thank you, is just a bin of, and I like to keep things, by the way, in bins. It's just easier and more organized for the children. So 2 different games you could play with in a bin. I like to use tweezers. You can use these special tweezers. I'm going to tell you at the end of the video where I got my resource ideas from and give you websites, but I will do that at the end. But these tweezers can be purchased from some special needs catalogs, and I love them because they come in fun colors, and as you can see, this one's a horse, and it's just something different that also see the fine motor skills. You're using the small muscles of the hand. So basically, this box is filled with different materials that a child can even play in with their hands, picking them up. A lot of these you can string beads with, but this game is where either you use a spinner or a die, and you put the die or spinner in front of the child, and you say, I'm going to have you spin a number. Oh, and I got 1, so I'm going to spin number 1. So I'm going to have you pick out 1 of anything. So the child can pick up 1 pom-pom. Oop, I'm not very good at it. Pick up 1 pom-pom. So when I do that, I've worked on my fine motor skills. That's one game you could play. You could pick up 1 bell. You could pick up 1 bead. You could pick up anything you want with these tweezers. There's a tiny little one. So that's one of the games I like to play. Another way to play this game would be to use a die or dice, and you could just spin a number, and I got 3, and I would use my tweezers to pick up 3 items. So that's one activity that you could try at home for fine motor skills. Something else you could do is to use colored bowls, which are one of my favorite things. You could just say to the child, okay, here's an orange bowl and a blue bowl. I'll just put 2 out just for today. I can't get the blue one out. There we go. So what you would do at that point would be either to use your pincer or your 2-finger grasp and just use that to match the balls into the correct bowl. So make sure that the bowls are the same color as the pom-poms. You're working on different skills here. You're working on visual skills where you're matching color to color. And you're working on the skill of actually picking up the pom-pom. This would be for smaller kids. For kids that are a little bit older, you could use these tweezers again. The same kind of thing that I just said. You would pick up the pom-pom with the tweezers and you would put, match and sort as appropriate. If you wanted to adapt the activity, which is make it harder for older kids, you could use tweezers that moms and dads use, and those are the metal ones, or sometimes you could get plastic ones for older kids that are smaller. So that's basically the activity with matching the fine motor skills and the tweezers. So a general overview of translation and fine motor. Now, I want to tell you just some activities that you can do at home that you may already have and you don't even realize. There are puzzles that I like to purchase, and they're just these kind of puzzles. But instead of getting puzzles that are regular puzzles, which are also fine, I like the puzzles with the little pegs. Because again, you're using those fine motor. You could either use a 3-pincer grasp, which is called a tripod, because it's 3 fingers, or tri, or you could use this pincer again. So it's nice to have puzzles with little handles. You can get these anywhere. I get mine used a lot of the times at Goodwill. I make my husband go thrift store shopping with me and he loves it. So that's somewhere you could get things cheap, is the thrift store. So Pizza Pile Up is another fun game. I don't know if you have this game or if you're familiar with it, and I'm not going to show you exactly how to play it, but you basically just leave the little guy and he has a pizza. And then you draw a card, and the card says pepperoni. So you pull pepperoni, and you have to make sure it balances on the top. Picking up the pepperoni, the mushroom, the cheese pieces are excellent for fine motor skills. So that's the game, one of the games that I like among many for fine motor work. Another thing are matching cubes like these. You can match the colors, you can make patterns. Sometimes it's really fun to make a pattern. So this time I've made blue, red, yellow. So you could say to your child, make blue, red, yellow. Or your child can make a pattern and you could imitate them. These are really good because they work on strengthening those muscles and the actual movement of them. This is also good because both hands are working together, and we like when the helper hand helps the dominant hand. A couple other things that I'd like to show you, if you don't mind, are using, sorry, I'm turning my back to you, but I want to show you that using the paper. So stickers and paper are really important for kids. You don't even realize that you're helping your child by asking them to take stickers off of paper and put them onto pages. So, or onto the paper. So basically you're using your fine motor skills, and I'm going to have to dig my nail into this one, to take off the sticker and put it on the paper. So just doing that for smaller kids is really great fine motor skills. You can get glittery paper. I like to use stickers with letters and numbers because I want to eventually teach letters and numbers to the kids. Something else in my bin full of construction paper and stickers are these little, and I don't know if you want to zoom in to see them, they're just stampers. Excuse me, and you would use just your finger like this, and you would use the stamper, and I like the hearts. You can get these at the craft stores or even sometimes at stores like Walmart, and you just punch holes in the paper. So it's strengthening those fine motor muscles in there. So that's something that's really fun to do for kids. Other things that I prefer to do are using little toys like this, and you can get these again used or new, and this is just working those muscles to use unscrew. Then you could screw things on the box. There's a little hammer. This is really cute for any kid. You could use these like tools and pound, or you could just use your fine motor skills again. So finally, I wanted to tell you about my big paper clip. You can get these in office supply stores, but this is another great way to, it's squeaky too. You can use this to work your fine motor skills. Finally, I love using things that I have around the house. So I have this medicine dropper from one of my children, and I like to just have them transfer water. So you would just get a little bit of water in here and transfer it into a bowl. You could really have it fun, and you could make colored water. Or you could take a just a used container and cut a slit in the top and get poker chips or anything and have the child put them in the container. Take them out and redo it. So there's some ideas for fine motor skills for you. I want to make sure that you know that you can do this and you can be as creative as you want as long as it's something your child is interested in. It's going to make a big difference if you practice these fine motor skills. So remember, The Pocket Occupational Therapist is the book, and you can go to our website at www.PocketOT, that's POCKETOT.com. And throughout the book, I give you explanations, and then I like to give a lot of activities that you can do at home with your child. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Look for more videos to come.